While the passing of Queen Elizabeth II will have lasting impacts on generations of people across the globe. On tonight's Unfiltered, Dr. William Foley, a senior lecturer at IUPUI and expert on the United Kingdom, explains her significance. Dr. Foley, we really appreciate you taking some time for us today.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's a sad day.
It is a sad day. She's been the Queen for 70 years. What will she most be remembered for?
I think she'll be most remembered for stability and strength over a long period of time. And I think that she illuminates a lot of the good in people. She was, I think, as you may know, she was a vehicle mechanic in World War II as a princess at the age of 18. And they were under heavy bombardment by the Germans. So she was able to ascend to the role of being royal in 1952 with a coronation in 1953. So in 70 years, she has basically been the symbol of strength and stability and status for the crown. And so I would say that's very important. But these were also extraordinary times. These were the times of the Battle of the Falklands. These were the times of the Vietnam War protests. These were the times of, can the EU, of the European Coal Union, will they accept Great Britain? Will they allow England in? Later on, can England get out and the UK of the EU? And she was akin to 15 different British prime ministers, and she was, but I think very importantly so, she's a continuation of that special relationship that was founded by Churchill and Roosevelt at Dumbarton Oaks, and just before, in the breaking of the codes at Bletchley Park by the British, by Alan Turing, and in Project Ultra, and the breaking of the codes of the Japanese by the Americans in Project Purple.
I don't mean to interrupt, but what does her passing mean for the people in UK?
They've lost a grandmother. Yeah. They've lost someone who was personally part of their lives for generations. She, of course, was even part of their lives longer than Roosevelt was part of the presidency of the United States. But she was a symbol. I think she illuminated for the citizens of the UK and the Commonwealth countries. I think she illuminated what to retain and what to share and what to reject. And she brought to the Windsor dynasty a continuity with the past that illuminated where they had been. And she was always present to show them where they might be going.
You had the chance to meet her, I understand. What was that like?
Well, I didn't get a chance. I just got a chance to see her. My wife saw her in 1959 when she took her yacht up the Windsor Canal. And then in 1976, she came here under President Ford for the bicentennial of the United States. I happened to be in D.C. Doing a little research on the Kennedy topic for my dissertation.
What will these next few days, few weeks be like in the UK?
I think this will be a time of mourning, of extraordinary mourning. She's now with Prince Philip, but there's no real replacement for her. Charles III, and I hope Charles III does better. I know you know the history of this than Charles I and Charles II. But Charles III is not really even as popular as William, but she was very popular with the people. She was a little bit like Elizabeth I and Victoria I. She was a queen a leader that the people fully respected. And she also made some tough decisions. She could get a vote of no confidence on Boris Johnson a lot earlier than he got one for his shenanigans in Partygate. But she chose to let the party work it out. And that's a sign of administrative status and stability.
She was very strong, no doubt about that.